everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to No More Dinner Dreads. It's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. And today we are making roast chicken, traditional roast chicken. And that's why I am putting on these rubber gloves. So we're going to talk about health and safety in dealing with whole chickens and the age-old dilemma. Do you wash a chicken or do you not wash a chicken? So we're going to get into that. Let's see who just joined us. It'll pop up in a minute and let me know who's there. And we're going to wait just a few minutes for everybody to find us here. But I just put on my rubber gloves because when I handle poultry, well, chicken pieces are a little bit easier to deal with, but a whole roast chicken can be very challenging, especially the washing of it. And again, the age-old dilemma, do you wash it or do you not? So two things that I always follow. Number one, Julia Childs and Ina Garden both say wash a chicken. Strangely, hey there, Nancy Holland. Happy to have you here. Thanks for joining right on time. But the CDC says do not wash a chicken. Now, there's lots of reasons why that changed over time. My mother and grandmother used to boil hot water and pour it into the cavity of the chicken, the whole chicken or the turkey. And then, I've got a little hair in my eye here. And then they felt that the chicken was clean. They'd pour it over the skin, etc. But the way that chickens were processed back in the day when my mother and grandmother were preparing chicken is very different than what's done today and required by law, etc. So the CDC says do not wash. So what does Nanny Bubby say? That is the question. The question is answered by me because I say let's rinse it and let's use what? Probably you could guess. If there was something to use our food grade hydrogen peroxide on, it would be a whole chicken. So this is my process. I'm actually not going to do it for you because it would take some time, but I'm just gonna show you the example of it. Let me get the pepper out of the way here. So what I have done, and hi Brenda, how are you? I couldn't answer your question, Brenda, when you asked it because it was 3 minutes to air time. So I'm really happy that you're here, but I couldn't answer your question that you asked. So who else is here? Maruka is here. I love it when Maruka shows up. So here we go. Here are whole chickens. Teresa Anderson, I posted that picture last night and the recipe. Give me a thumbs up that you saw it. Okay, very good. And who else is here? Colette Brown is here. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'll say hello to the other people that pop in just a minute. So these are whole chickens, as you can see. And I'm just gonna note that these are organic whole chickens. Hello, Lene. These are organic whole chickens from Whole Foods. And what I like about them, if you can see, this is no lie. Hello, Helene Wine. How are you? Shabbat Shalom, Helene. And let's see. Oh, and Andy's here. Oh my gosh, so many people are showing up. I'm so excited. But look at the skins. These skins are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. They're white. They're clean. And when I opened up the package, there was not a lot of red, juicy, pink, juicy blood in there, which made me feel very good about it. The other thing that I like about these organic chickens from Whole Foods is that they don't have the giblets and all of those other things in a parchment sack in the cavity, which makes the cavity feel very, very clean and lovely. So what I do is I take this food grade hydrogen peroxide, which you can find again on the nannybubby.com website, Game Changers. Scroll down, it's quite a ways down. And I spray the inside of the cavity with it, and then I spray all the skin. And I do this in a colander. And in fact, I put it in the dishwasher already because I hated it sticking out, but I'm gonna show you. I do this in the stainless steel colander. And I let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I rinse it out in the colander, let it drain as best as I can, and then I will usually move it from the colander into the baking dish, which I did not do because I needed to do 2, and I needed for all of you to see it. Then the key to making sure that, hey, Brenda Kramer, thank you for being here. Then the key to really not having that poultry bacteria anywhere in your kitchen is that I pop this right immediately into the dishwasher, and I'm gonna run that dishwasher on the express mode before I do anything. And I'll tell you what else I did. Over here on the side, it is a dish drainer, and there were a couple of dishes that were clean and drained and dry, and when I looked over at them, there was a little bit of water that had splashed over on it, and I'm not taking any chances. So I pulled everything out of that dish drainer and I put it into the dishwasher with the strainer, with the colander, and I'm gonna run everything through the dishwasher, and I'm gonna give this a really good wash, this big, fabulous bowl that I soak everything in as soon as we're done. Hey, Lucy, thanks for being here. So let me turn you around and let me talk to you about this recipe. So we're gonna start out by preheating that oven to 425 degrees. Sorry, I gotta close the dishwasher. I'm back. I had to close the dishwasher because I had to stand here. Preheat that oven. Hey, Jordan, boy, I bet it's cold up there in Idaho. Too bad you're in Idaho, Jordan, and not here in sunny Las Vegas, where it's also very cold, so you're not missing anything. Bad time of year to be in Vegas, too. I know it's more beautiful in Idaho than it is here. Preheat to 425. We're gonna pop these chickens into the oven for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna turn it down to 375 so that the outer skin has a chance to get crispy when you put it in, but not get burned and too dried out for the rest of the cooking. Hey, Sue Plattner, we cook it. Hey, Heather, we cook it for about an hour and a half for 90 minutes. So let's start out first with what we're gonna put into the bottom of this fabulous roasting pan. This is a La Creuset roasting pan. I love it. My mother-in-law gave it to me because it was so heavy she couldn't lift it even when it was empty. And I use it for just about everything. So let me move this salt and pepper out of the way because it is in the way of the camera stand. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the first thing that this recipe calls for is onions, carrots, and my bind just went blank. Somebody help me with this. Do you know what it is? Fennel. It's fresh fennel. Sorry about that. It just escaped me. And everything has already been cleaned prior to. None of this came out of Nanny Bubby's garden, so I did wash it with the food grade hydrogen peroxide. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I cut the onions. They're just big slices. So you can see right here, these big slices. They're going to go right into the bottom of the roasting pan. You can see I just sprinkled them right into the bottom there. And then I've saved an onion to show all of you how I cut it. And I'm gonna go 1, 2, just big, thick slices. I hold the skin in the back to give me some sturdy, and I did cut a little piece off the belly side so it would lay flat. And that helps me cut without cutting myself. And then I'm just gonna stack these back on top of each other and slice them in half, right? And then I will take my hands and I will just separate them. Like so. Now, again, I'm wearing the gloves because I really am very, very careful about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it when I'm working with raw poultry, mostly whole raw chickens. Okay, onions all in. Now we'll do the fennel and the carrots. So let's come over here. Let's see if we can get you a shot that will show both the cutting board and what we're doing. So the fennel, I've already taken the core out of the fennel, as you can see, and cut them in wedges. So we're just gonna make them a little bit thinner. Can you all see that okay? All right, there we go. And into the bottom of the roasting pan, so easy. Just a few more of these. Let's see, anybody else? Oh, Helene is here. Hello, Helene. Great conversation over these last couple days. I'm glad that you're here. Let's see, who else? Who else has come in that I didn't see? Oh, and Heather. Okay, I already said hi to Heather. She's here every day. Talk about a dedicated sister. Helene, Heather is here every day. But I know you work, so you can't be here every day. All right, so off with the fennel. Now with the carrots, I do not peel the carrots. I do not peel the carrots because all of the vitamins are in the skin, and by the time they roast, and they will caramelize into the roasting pan, you would not be able to tell whether they had skins on them or not. And as it turns out, these organic carrots, of course, not from Nanny Bubby's garden, but these organic carrots have got very thin skins on them. They're really quite beautiful. And what I like to do is to pre-cut them into bite-sized pieces like that, so that really when you sit down to eat, I'll cut this stem in half and like that, because that way when you sit down to eat, you don't have to worry about cutting the vegetables, and everything in here caramelizes. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. So let's get rid of this. So I want to talk about last night's recipe. Number one, Teresa. Teresa, you're here. I'm pretty sure I saw you here. So hey, Teresa. I did post the picture. I had a little trouble with it. So truth be known, I have a brand new camera because not camera, but the brand new phone, because the camera on my old phone was malfunctioning really bad, and all my pictures were turning out muddy, and I didn't know why, and it turns out that it was the camera. So I got a new phone, which I needed because I had the 10, and since part of what I do is take these pictures for all of you, that's why I haven't been posting so many pictures as of late until my new phone arrived, because somebody who knows photography really said, Marla, there's something big time wrong with your camera. And she tried to adjust it in a camera app that helps the color of, we couldn't make them unmuddy, and that's when we realized it was the camera. So what, I was very proud last night that that I was able to post the pictures, especially because Teresa reminded me to do it. And I got a lot of feedback on that recipe. There's a lot of people that are making that recipe tonight that texted me and asked for more specific instructions, so I love that. Don't be afraid to text me and and ask questions or DM me on Facebook. I'm happy to answer. And then while I was outside, so I took the plate outside because the plate was white, and my brand new countertops on the outdoor kitchen is white, and I just wanted to take a bright, beautiful picture, and all of a sudden I heard my husband scream out, seriously, oh my God, Marla, this is delicious, and I could not believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe he just said that. That's amazing. So that was very exciting. I mean, he's very used to my cooking, and so that dish moved him in that way, I knew I had a winner. So I was very, very excited. If you're following that recipe, add carrots to the bok choy and the fennel, because what that does is adds color, because what I found is that when we roasted those thighs on top of the bok choy, it shrunk down and it lost a lot of its color. But carrots, as my friend Colette did, who is here right now, added beautiful color at the bottom, and so I highly recommend adding carrots to that. So we're going to take this, we're gonna just put a little bit of olive oil, like so, on here, and we're going to take some, can't see it, can you? We're gonna take some salt. Oh, Steph Tusman is here. Hey, Stephanie. Shabbat Shalom to you as well. So happy you're here. I almost missed you there. Okay, there we go. So happy you're here. I'm so sorry. I saw today that you called me. Call me after the show. And we're just gonna toss this like so. Now, one of the keys to making these great roast chickens is that we are not going to use our hands too much anyway, to spread around the olive oil. What I use is spray olive oil. So give me 1 second to turn my back to you, which I hate to do, as you know. And really all I have is avocado oil, but it doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't. Because we are going to add butter inside between the skin and the meat. So I'm going to take well, let's see how to do this, because what I don't want to do is take these chickens and carry them over the top of the cutting board and then into the roasting pan, because any juices that drop off on this roasting board or on this cutting board are going to be a problem, because that bacteria gets into the wood, and that's where you come into problems with bacteria. And I'm very, very, very cautious. So let me take, and by the way, after touching my camera 100 times, I'm gonna, hi Roseanne, so happy to have you here. So happy you're here. I almost missed you, my fellow Capricorn. Hi there. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to spray. Actually, I'm not, because I'm gonna do one thing. I am going to blot the first chicken dry, because if you don't blot this skin dry, what happens is it doesn't get crispy. So it's really important, and I'm being very cautious here again, because I don't want to go over the top of the board. So I almost missed this step. So we're going to take this and we're going to spray it with, well, I'm really just going to walk out and bring this over, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to blot this, and then we can move on with life, right? Because I really, listen, bacteria, I've seen so many videos. I remember 60 Minutes years ago had some sort of special where somebody just prepared a roast chicken, and then they turned on an infrared light, and the infrared light showed where all the bacteria had sprayed all over the kitchen. And that was enough to kind of make me sick, almost as sick as watching the Amazon shopper pick his face before he pulled out a head of lettuce for whoever he was shopping for. So anyway, I hate to keep bringing up that story, but you know, once you see something, you can't get it out of your head. Hey, Tawny, welcome. Okay, stepping back and over. Okay, there we go. Now let me get rid of this. And let me, I hate to now touch. Blah is right, Helene. Okay, I just took off the gloves, and let me throw away those gloves, and I'm back. Okay, so can you see these chickens? There we go. Now I'm going to spray them. And I will be picking up the chickens, but I really needed those gloves. And I'm gonna spray the inside, right down in the cavity, spray the back, spray the outside, spray down into the cavity, and spray the back. Okay, there we go. Now, washing hands, well, I don't have, yep, nope, I don't have to, because I did not touch with the right hand, only the left. Do you see how careful you have to be? Brenda says that it's not just the recipe, but the safety of preparing your meals. Yes, it is, very much so. Okay, so first I'm holding with left hand only. I'm gonna sprinkle salt on the back. I'm going to sprinkle the pepper on the back. Do these one at a time, and then I'll go back, but it's the back, so you just want to make sure that you get them seasoned, and then we will season both at the same time. So salt to the back and pepper to the back. Again, the higher you hold your spoon that you're seasoning with from what you're seasoning, the more control you have. Okay, so now one at a time. We're going to do the inside of this chicken, salt, pepper. The inside of this one, I had my hand on the pepper, so we're going to do pepper here and salt. Okay, all right. Now, this is the key. So let me wash my hands. You'll give me 1 second. Here I am. You see how fanatical I am, but I mean, could everybody agree that better to be fanatical and better to have safe hands, safe food safety is as important as what you're eating and how you're eating it. And I cannot stress that enough. So here we go. Back. I'm back. So what we're gonna do is let's first start stuffing with the garlic. So I'm gonna take this garlic, let me just, so that you can see, and I'm going to slice it. Can you see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. And we're gonna put in a whole head of this garlic, sliced in half, Take off the top layer of the skin, but we're gonna just take it skin and all and stick it right into the cavity. One per cavity. So another head of garlic here. Can you see that? Cut in half. There we go. Outer layer of skin comes off. This one kind of fell apart a little bit, but not to worry. Just pick it all up. Take off the skin a little bit. I'm gonna just take this skin off, and we're gonna take the garlic, and again, just stick it right into the cavity of the second chicken. There we go. And in it goes. Next, we're putting in lemon. Wonderful lemon, and I cannot tell you how it. Hi, Stacy. How are you? So sometimes I cut these lemons all different ways, but we're going to cut it in fours. Is what we're going to do, and then we're going to take the lemon, and again, a whole lemon per cavity, right? So there's 1, 2. Just stick it right in. There we go. And the second one. So this one I'll cut the other way, long ways, in half. There we go. And quarters. Okay. Now what happens is this lemon, I always try to put the lemon as close to the top and the breast as I can, because the flavors of the lemon and the garlic is just absolutely incredible. And then one last thing I'm sticking into these cavities, and that is going to be thyme. So I'm going to take this thyme and the twine, the thyme and the twine, and I'm going to take one big bunch of the thyme, and I'm going to stick it into, let me turn the camera so you can see. All of this goes into this cavity. A little bit sticks out. It flavors it so amazing. Now this is an Ina Garden recipe, but I change it just a little bit on how I prepare it into the roasting pan and everything else. Okay, I am now going to tell you, I have to just move this camera because I don't want to grab it. Do you see this twine right here? This is kitchen twine, and the key to doing this is you have to get it and you have to cut it prior to when you make the dish, because inevitably I will be making this dish and forget to get the twine, and then what happens is I have to go running to find it, then my hands are dirty and I'm afraid to do it, then I come back. And really, for all recipes that you do, you should try to have almost as much as you can in front of you as you go. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie together the legs, which is awesome. So like a good Girl Scout, we're gonna first do a slip knot. Is that what it's called? Somebody tell me. I think it's a slip knot. I wasn't a Girl Scout, I was a brownie, and I was the best cookie salesperson in all of Las Vegas when I was in the first grade. Can you believe it? And everybody said, oh my God, she's a born salesman. And I didn't know what that meant or what to do with it, but later in life, I figured that piece of me out. It's been very advantageous. But it started when I was in the first grade and selling Girl Scout cookies. How funny is that? Okay, can you see that? Around and around, just make a figure 8 with the twine, and then come to where you made the slip knot, and then tie that into a knot. So give me a thumbs up if you guys can see how I did that. And if you didn't, not to worry, because the next one is a little bit closer to the camera, and I'll tip down, and man, I'm gonna have to disinfect. I have to disinfect the camera from all of the times I've touched it with raw chicken hands. Okay, so there we go. Can you see this now? Let's do a slip knot. Let's get it onto this leg. And nice figure 8s. Ready? Let's make that a little bit tighter. Now, Ina always says tuck those wings in so that they don't burn. So let me tell you, I'm going to tell you very frankly, I have tried to tuck those wings in like she does 100 times if I've tried once. And I can't get those wings tucked in. So let's see if they tuck. I don't know if she breaks them when they don't tuck for me. But I think they're going to be okay. So, all right, let me now wash the hands again. Stand by. It's coming. I'm going to do it again. Okay. No matter what you do, and by the way, this dishcloth that I keep using to dry my hands every time, who knows how much I've gotten off, but that's gonna go right into the laundry as well. So everything gets done. So we've already salt and peppered the back. We have sprayed the avocado oil on these, and now what's gonna stick is fabulous salt as we put it also inside the cavity. There we go. And remember, I said it just a minute ago, but the more and higher you raise the spoon that you're salting with, or your fingers as you're maybe salting with that, the more control that you have. And now the pepper. Now for color, you could add paprika if you'd like. Yeah, which might be a good idea. I think I will. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit, actually just a little bit of smoked paprika. That's my favorite thing to do. So let me grab that. I think just a little bit of smoked paprika. Am I out? No. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm back. Let me grab a spoon here. Okay. All right, just a little bit of smoked paprika, just to add color. It's gonna add such a beautiful color. I really am raising high up on this because I don't want any big splotches. There we go. Okay. Look at how beautiful, and it smells so good. Look at how beautiful that is, okay? This is a great idea. I love that I just thought of that. Okay, now, what we're gonna do, hey Cynthia Berman, how are ya? Oh, hey, everybody's here. So happy everybody's here. You know, I was gonna call today Friend Friday, and because I was having this conversation with my husband last night. He said, you know, you really need to get to 25 people. And I said, well, I've never really counted so much how many people are watching live, but I guess it would be great to get to 25. And he said, well, that's what you should be doing is talking to 25. And I said, hey, I don't care if I talk to one, if they're getting value out of what I'm saying and they're learning something and they're having fun and I'm having fun. It doesn't matter to me whether there's 1, 2, 3, or 25 or more. And I said, but I can tell you this, as I waved my knife at him. I said, all I have to do is say to everybody that comes every day and say, hey, will you invite just one friend on Sunday or Monday to join you, and I'll probably get to 30. He said, that's not gonna happen. I said, you don't think that's gonna happen? You just watch. Everybody's gonna invite a friend. So I was gonna call today Friend Friday, invite a friend, just one friend to join us today. But do you know what I did instead? And my decorator called and said, hey, we can get into the World Market Center. Do you wanna buy furniture for your outdoor patio? So I went as fast as he called. I was in the car and on my way. But I can tell you this, next Friday, we'll call it Friend Friday, and all of you can invite a friend, and I bet you we get to 25 like that, because I know you guys. Yep. What did Cynthia say? Been gardening, late to get here. Yep, Helene was late. Everybody's late, but it's okay. Everybody's got a life. Not everybody can be here every day. So one of the other things about yesterday, I'm cutting the butter right now because we're gonna put butter on the inside. So one of the other things about yesterday is people were loving this recipe, the chicken thighs with the mustard and the ginger and the miso. So can you see that I am sticking this butter with my fingers? So again, I'm gonna have to wash right in between the skin and the meat. So remember what I said, fat triggers your brain when you're full. Don't ever eat non-fat. Butter is the sexiest thing we eat. It melts at body temperature. It flavors everything. Always use grass-fed butter, which I do. I use the Kerrygold. And boy, let me tell you, chicken without butter is like peanut butter without jelly. So let's stick this butter. Can you see that? Going all the way into the skin. Don't be afraid of butter. When we eat these chickens tonight, they are gonna just melt in our mouth. It helps to keep the white meat very juicy. So here we go. I'm gonna keep grabbing that butter and in we go. I'm gonna kind of push this in half. And I just kind of spread it around because what it'll do is it just kind of is soft now and it's melting. Oh my God, this is gonna be really fantastic. There we go. Can you see that? Thumbs up. I've never put butter under the skin. Well, my darling, it's time to start. It's fantastic. Okay, more butter for the next one. So here's the other thing that I found so interesting last night is there were more comments about my messy bun than there were about the food. And apparently all of you really like the messy bun. So that's day 2 hair, right? We can all relate. There's like a day 1 hairstyle, which is what you're looking at right here. And then there's a day 2 hairstyle, which now is going to be my messy bun. So, and boy, was it liberating to be able to do that. It really, really was. Okay, so let's turn this around so I can get into it. I want to make sure you can all still see it. There we go. Okay. Thanks, Colette. Oh, I love it. You know, I'm from Las Vegas, so I always do too much makeup, have all of my life. I always do too much hair. I overdress for everything. And the other day, I want to tell you guys something really funny. I was on a Zoom call with a business group. It was not the Savvy 6, it was another one. And there was somebody on and she says, well, tell me where you're from and what you do. And, you know, it was early in the morning and part of the call was getting a little boring for me. So it came to she called out my name and asked me to say where I was from. And I said, my name is Marla Letitia. I am known as Nanny Bubby, and I teach strippers, hookers, and showgirls how to cook better for their family. And I did this with a total straight face. And you should have seen her face, and then everybody else who knows me just like burst out laughing, which really helped her burst out laughing. And somebody said, why did you say that? And I said, well, you know, it's funny because when you're from Las Vegas and you say to people, well, I've been here all my life, and they say, really? People were raised in Las Vegas? People live in Las Vegas? And I'm like, yeah, people live in Las Vegas. Like, they don't believe that. But if I tell them I live in Las Vegas and I teach cooking to hookers, showgirls, and strippers, they're like, oh, I figured that's what you do there. Oh my gosh, poor Las Vegas. Greatest, best kept secret in all the country at what a great place this is to live in. So here is our roast chicken. I really have to, oh, I didn't see you say that it wasn't kosher. So anyway, Helene Foreman is here and Helene Wine is here. So I've got my Helene's a little bit mixed up. So let me wash these hands again. I'm still talking to you. Hopefully you're all cracking up over the hooker, stripper, and showgirl comment. And I'm washing my hands, and I am truly gonna have to disinfect my kitchen. One thing too, if you noticed, and you guys probably caught it, but I touched this spoon right here after I touched the chicken. It just happened. So that gonna go in the dishwasher. We might as well do it for the pepper as well. And there was a corner of this breadboard. So I'm going to grab the hydrogen peroxide and I'm gonna spray that there. And I'm probably still going to hydrogen peroxide down the breadboard because why not? Why take chances? So there we go. Let's take a look at this. I'm gonna throw this garlic right into there. Oh my God, it's so heavy, but what do you think of that? I put them opposite sides so that they both fit into this roasting pan. My lower back is killing me, so I'm putting it down. And again, we're gonna put it into the oven at 425 degrees. There's Helene. She says, people think our shul is filled with showgirls too. I bet they do. And why not? Showgirls pray too, right? Just because you're a showgirl doesn't mean you don't believe in God or go to church or synagogue, right? Even strippers go. I know you don't have strippers there though, Helene, but you might, who knows? Anyway, so let me get back to this. What kind of a cooking show is this, by the way? What did Stacy says? Oh, thank you. Back to the food, Stacy. Let's get back to this and get off strippers and showgirls. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to preheat it to 425. What's really great is sometimes when I make things for all of you, I pre-cook it, and then I go upstairs and do a little bit of work, and then we all come downstairs for dinner, and sometimes it gets a little overcooked, and my husband is like, well, this was probably better at 3 o'clock when you made it. But now I get to put this in the oven for an hour and a half. It's 3:30. We'll be ready, 3:38. We'll be ready to eat it at about 5:15, because I'm going to take it out of the oven and I'm going to cover it with foil. But before I cover it with foil, I'm going to put parchment paper over the top, because you don't want the foil to ever touch your food, right? Toxicity, we're staying away from that. And I'm gonna let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll be able to take it right out of this pot. And I've got another breadboard that I use to carve chicken on, and I'm gonna carve it up and set it onto the platter. And Teresa will say, don't forget to take a picture. Teresa, thank you so much. And that's what I'm going to do. So that's it. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? It takes a minute, right? Takes a minute. Let's see. Roseanne said, when I was living in Chicago working for the Mormon-owned radio station, people would ask me what I did in Las Vegas. And she says, let me put Seymour. I can't see more, Roseanne. So I know it's kind of a crazy thing, but the Mormons founded Las Vegas. And I tell that story too, because when we moved here when I was 2 years old, there were only 25,000 people who lived in Las Vegas at that time. And there was a very large, as there still is, beautiful Mormon community here. And all of our teachers, all my teachers were Mormon all the way up until the 6th grade. And their husbands all worked at the atomic test site, and they taught school during the day. So it gave me a really great opportunity to cross culture and learn so much about their tradition, which is really just beautiful and lovely. So it says she was a stripper. Oh, see what I'm talking about? And I'm going to say this one last thing and then we'll sign off. But I learned at the age of 8 years old that I would go to visit my grandmother in California. And I'm 7 or 8 years old, and the next door neighbors would come over and they would say, I didn't know, your grandmother says you live in Las Vegas. I didn't know anybody lived in Las Vegas. And by the time I was 9 years old, after hearing that just about all my life, I said to people when I would go, I would say, well, you know, people have to live in Las Vegas because my mommy is a cocktail waitress and my mommy has to go to the grocery store. So people have to live there to run the grocery store. And my mommy has to take me to the doctor. So there has to be doctors and nurses. And I have to buy shoes. So there's a man that owns a shoe store. And I mean, at 9 years old, I'm trying to explain to these people why there is a population that lives in Las Vegas. Okay, that's great. But now I'm 13 and people are still saying, you live in Las Vegas? I didn't know anybody lived in Las Vegas. Okay, so now at 13, here was my answer. You're right. They don't live in Las Vegas. They live in Barstow, and every day we bust the dealers and the cocktail waitresses and the grocery clerks and the doctors and the nurses and the lawyers. We bust them in from Barstow, and they all work there, but then we bust them back to Barstow. And, you know, that was about as smart alecky as I got over that subject. But people would believe that. And I'm like, and then I would say at 13 years old, you believe that? How crazy. Of course there's a population there. So anyway, those are just some fun Las Vegas stories. Thank you all for listening to that. All right, everybody. Happy weekend. I won't be here tomorrow. I know, Tawny, but right? Like, are you kidding me? And they'd believe it. And sometimes I'd say Baker because, you know, the only thing in Baker at the time was the world's largest thermometer and the Bun Boy. And I'd say, oh, no, we all live in Baker, and they bus us in. Oh, I didn't know people were also living in Baker. Oh, yeah, Baker, Barstow, that's where we all come from. So anyway, I'm going to preheat the oven and stop with this. I love you all so much. Happy weekend. Shabbat Shalom to all of you who celebrate that, and have a great weekend. I won't be here tomorrow, but oh my gosh, before I sign off, wait, let's leave the strippers and hookers, and I have to show you something even more fantastic. 1 minute. This has been actually 10 days, but I have to show you. I know you can still hear me. But as long as we're having so much fun, these are the plants that have sprouted up since a week ago Sunday. So it's, I don't know, somebody do the math, 7 and 5, 12 days ago. These are the zucchini and squash plants. These are the arugula. And the arugula popped up 2 days. On Tuesday night, I looked and these sprouts started coming up. And then last weekend, so it took almost 6 days for the zucchini to pop up. So we're gonna talk about this on Sunday, because Sunday is always seed starting Sunday or seed planting Sunday or all that. So anyway, on the count of 3, love you so much. So good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Next Friday, it'll be Friend Friday. Let's tell Tom he's wrong about that. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and say it together. Spread love like butter. Bye, everybody.